Hey guys, welcome to the 2023 Indian Sport Chief. So Indian have their lineup of Chiefs, the Chief Limited, and a couple of other models. Now this, they're naming obviously the Sport, so it's a sporty version. I'm just going to go for a ride today and just basically give you my opinions on what I think of the bike, how it rides, riding position, engine, a few specifications, just give you the overall vibes of the bike and what it's like to ride if you're interested in the new Sport Chief. So stay tuned, let's hop on. Alright guys, just before we get going, I want to give you the price and the stats of the engine, because I have a feeling this bike's going to be a lot about the motor. So price, £19,995. It's a pricey bike, but you're getting a big engine for your money, and it's the same. Indian, the big Harley Davidson big cruisers, they're pricey bikes, so we're used to that. I was expecting that. Engine, a 1,890cc air-cooled V-twin with 89, roughly 90 horsepower. Indian don't actually state that, but the torque figure is where it's impressive. 162 newton meters of torque. That is a lot of pulling power. So let's hit the road right now. I'll give you my first impressions. Oh, we're off! Okay guys, I've only ever ridden one Indian motorcycle before, and that was the FTR 1200. Great fun, but the motor in this is a different kettle of fish. It's huge. So immediately jumping on, what's it like? It's a strange riding position to start off with, but the 5 minutes I rode to where I started filming there, you do get used to it really quickly. And to be honest, immediately hopping on, I was like, whoa, this is weird, this is uncomfortable. But I am used to it already, and it's already starting to make a little bit of sense. I was uncomfy with a backpack on, you know, you feel like you're sort of actually leaning surprisingly far forward. Your legs have got a big sort of 90-degree angle in my knees, but you've also got quite a long reach to the bars. It's strange, I don't know how they've managed it. However, saying that, you do get used to it really quickly. Feels pretty badass riding position. It's one of those proper sort of custom, like club style motorbikes. You feel quite special when you're on it, and it does get quite a lot of looks. So excuse me, I don't know the roads around here. I've borrowed this bike from Crazy Horse, Welling, epic company, so many thanks to them for lending me the bike. It's the first bike collaboration I've done with them, so hopefully there's many more to come in the future, but I am rusty on this area, so the roads may not be the best. First thing I can say is that engine is monstrous, really characterful as well. I've rarely ridden the large Indian cruiser engines, but I'm gonna go straight out with it. Now this is controversial, but I think this is a more characterful engine than the big Harley Davidson one. It's a really characterful V-twin, and the torque is immense, very strong, stronger than I've experienced with Harley, to be honest. That's a bit of a shout out, sorry Harley guys. So actually the clutch isn't too heavy, mid-weighted clutch and gear lever on the left. The handling, I'm surprised, actually feels quite nimble. It's strange. It is, they've really have geared this towards being more sporty, and I'll go over the specs in a bit. They've basically, compared to the normal Chief, they've basically God, these roads are a challenge. They've basically changed the suspension, gave it a bit longer travel suspension, nicer suspension, more adjustability, and yeah, made it more sports orientated. And you can, well, I've never ridden the other Chiefs, but it's quite nimble. These are really challenging roads to ride a bike fast on. Blind corners and tiny, but you can do it just about on this, and it's a big cruiser, this. So yeah, I suppose these roads are actually quite a good test for this. If this bike can handle these, it can handle anything. So motor and handling, I mean the motor's epic. Handling, I'm surprised. Actually, big thumbs up to the handling. It's surprisingly nimble. Yeah, You're low down to the ground, the riding position is very low, but you've got the raised up handlebars, you've got 6-inch risers on these handlebars. You can sort of hunker down in your seat and hang on to the handlebars. It feels very cool. I must say, with this backpack I've got on, I would not want to ride too long on this bike. I would not say this is a touring proposition bike. I wouldn't want to go touring on this. I've only been on it for half an hour. Mind you, these roads are stressful. I've only been on it for half an hour and I'm feeling the strain already. Right, come on, where can we go? Let's go somewhere good. So over the standard Chiefs, you've got this fairing at the front with a sort of mid-sized screen on it as well. What's the wind protection like? It is providing a little bit of wind protection actually, not surprisingly, but it's keeping it off of my torso and upper body quite nicely actually. I think that screen is quite effective. So yeah, good point on that screen. It's not just for looks, it does work somewhat. Once you get into the flow of the handling on this, it's lovely to just go from corner to corner. You just find a rhythm with it and then pull like a freight train when you come out of the corners. You don't need to change gear. It's a quick bike this, quick motor, I'm surprised. So, suspension specifications, you have 43mm KYB inverted forks with 130mm of travel up front and then non-adjustable up front. So on the rear suspension guys, you have Fox twin shocks with 100mm of travel and preload adjustability on the rear. So on that, the suspension guys has been upgraded on this sports model and the handling is surprisingly good actually. Worth giving it a test if you're interested, because it is a noticeably quite a nimble, good, capable handling bike. Okay guys, on to the front brakes. You have two 320mm discs with 4-piston radially mounted Brembo calipers on either side, so they're strong brakes as well. Really nice brakes. They've been upgraded over the standard Chief models to add to that sportiness of the bike, and surprisingly it does work. It does have a sporty feel to it, this bike. And on the rear brakes guys, you have one 300mm disc with a 2-piston, it looks like Indian branded caliper. Okay, so wet weight guys is 311 kilograms, big cruiser, and most of that is the engine. As to be expected on bikes like this, they are heavy, but as I've already mentioned, the handling and everything is very nice, and the engine more than enough to carry that weight at a quick speed on the road. This is a fast bike. Okay, so seat height, 686mm seat height. So classic cruiser, club style motorcycle. It's low down to the ground. I'm 5'9". I can easily reach the ground, flat foot it. Yeah, and on that, the riding style, hopefully you can see from there, it's sort of, you're quite stretched out actually. My arms are almost at a full stretch to the handlebars, and you are slightly leant forward. So I wouldn't want to ride this for too long. It's very cool. It gives you a good feeling, good vibes, and it is an event, excuse me, to ride it. But it's not the most comfortable riding position around. Okay, so rattled off a few specs for you there on the bike. Another thing that's different to the standard Chiefs is the seat. It's got a nice lumbar support there, and it actually works. When you roll on that throttle, it does give you a kickback in the seat, and that is very nice and supportive. So thumbs up for the seat. It's a comfortable seat. Okay guys, just before we hit the road again, and I'll give you my final conclusions, any downsides, and as to whether I sort of think this is sporty enough and worth it over the standard Chief. Thought I'd just actually mention the quality of the build. It's surprisingly good. The engine is a work of art. It just looks absolutely solid. I think that's worth mentioning. And the fairing, this little fairing up front, the LED headlights, everything's just really quite good quality. And the seat as well. The material on the seat and the cushioning on the seat is very comfortable. So yeah, I just want to make a point of that. It is a good quality built, and even if you look at these risers here, 6-inch risers for the handlebars, they are solid piece of milled metal. So good build quality. Alrighty then, please do excuse my horrendous phone holder bag here. I've been meaning to get a new one. It is just falling apart. I hope the view's alright for you. One thing to mention as well, this touchscreen, this round dial, the dash is touchscreen, and actually quite a big point. The weakness I'll give you of it first is it takes surprisingly long to fire up. When you turn the ignition on with this button, it takes a while. It takes like 10-15 seconds for the screen to boot up. Not a problem. It doesn't really bother me at all, to be honest. I think you get used to it. But a point to mention the positives of the screen, it's really good. I'm going to go as far as to say it's one of the best screens on a motorcycle I've ever used. It's touchscreen, works with gloves on really well. It's really simple. You've got the 4 buttons down here. Let's just touch there. Just love the way they keep it. So just gauges, bike, ride. You have full maps on this, which is great as well. You can connect your phone, your music. Let's go to bike. Just so simple. Go back there. Yeah, so if you want to go to your riding modes, just touch there and you've got Tour, Standard, Sport. I'm staying in Sport, but try not to crash into the hedge. It's just so simple. It's a really, really good screen. So I always like mentioning the mirrors in my reviews. Mirrors are good. Solid. Surprised actually. Quite practical. Work well. I would say it is not built for these sorts of roads, but I sort of knew that already. I just don't know my way around this area. So we're going to go into town now. I'll let you know what it's like in town, and then let you know sort of a couple of the weak points and the strong points. Look at the state of this bag I've got here. It's horrendous. I am going to be getting a new one. Well, at least it's characterful. So actually, just riding through town here, going back to Crazy Horse, a good town bike is a little bit of a stretch, but it's capable of filtering through town. The handlebars are relatively narrow, and like with the handling, it's quite a relatively nimble bike, so not bad as a town bike. If you want to look super duper cool when you're riding your Indian motorcycle around town, this is actually doable. Good for in town. Alright guys, many thanks for watching the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. A bit of a fun one today. I hope you're all doing well out there. Shout out to mental health awareness. Just enjoy yourselves guys. Just whatever feels right, whatever makes you happy, you know, as long as it's a sensible thing, then go for it. It's been a fun ride today, but a bit of a mixed-matched review I guess, but I hope you've enjoyed the video anyway. Many thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao Bella.